Spence, what are you doing here?
Miles, I need your help to fix the timeline.
Miles, where are you going?
We're going to fix the timeline.
You can't leave class without a pass.
Sorry. This is the Spence HQ? I was expecting something a little more impressive. What is it, budget cuts?
No, it's I'm going green.
Hey, you have a red beard now.
Yeah, it doubles my power. For the past year or so, I've been living in the 1870s under the Grant administration.
Oh, President Grant. Wasn't he the one with like all the scandals and corruption and stuff?
Exactly, but that's our problem. In 2 weeks, two men named Gold and Fisk are going to hire Mr. Corbin to try and convince President Grant to stop his Cash for Gold program. Well, you see, the problem is Corbin has been erased from history as if he never existed.
Who could have done such a thing?
The Anti-Spence! Dun dun dun!
Well, I don't really see the problem here. Like, that's just one less scandal to mar the Grant administration.
Well, Miles, think of the timeline. Here, let me show you. You see, Black Friday never happened, and after a chain reaction, it caused the future to be a nuclear wasteland. Miles, I need your help to fix this.
What can I do to help?
You're gonna have to stand in for their lead con man, Corbin. Sorry for the delay, President Grant.
Spence, my friend, good to see you.
This is the party where Fisk and Gold will try and convince you to join their scheme. Make sure you tell them that you're the best man for the job. It's at parties like these that Fisk and Gold will try and convince Grant to pull all his money out of the gold market.
That's lame.
Remember the timeline, Miles.
Hello, stranger. What is your name?
I'm, Arthur Rathbone Corbin.
Ah, nice to meet you, Mr. Corbin. I'm James Fisk. You can call me Mr. Fisk.
So what is your line of work?
Well, I'm a con artist, and I specialize in deceiving presidents.
He's perfect.
So is it true that you're married to the president's sister?
Well, is she hot?
Yes, smoking. Think, Megan Fox, 1800s.
Yes, I am.
He's perfect.
Ah, we have a proposition for you. I'm sure you've heard about the administration's plan to trade cash for gold, have you?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'd like to stop that.
You get profit.
How's it going, Mr. President?
Oh, I don't actually know what your name is. Didn't catch it.
It's Corbin, sir.
Oh, yeah, you married my sister.
Yeah, it's been many happy years with, Virginia.
But, wait a minute. Didn't you just get married this year?
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun, you know how it is.
Oh, yeah.
I've been meaning to ask you about the gold markets.
What do you mean by that?
Well,
To put it bluntly, Mr. President, your new cash for gold policy has really hurt the economy. So I beg of you to please pull out of the gold markets.
Sorry to disappoint you guys, but I will stay the course. Americans need a gold-backed currency they can believe in.
Alright, I see you. I'm feeling you.
I'm sorry to bother you, Mr. President.
You're just gonna have to try a little harder, Mr. Corbin.
We weren't expecting much the first time, but you're gonna have to push more if we want to get anywhere.
Don't worry, we'll discuss this tomorrow. Meet me at the Ford Hotel, 7:30 a.m. sharp.
Excuse me, President Grant?
Yes, what can I do for you?
Hi, I was bartending at the party last night and I just couldn't help but noticing these three guys in the corner. I was listening to their conversation and they were talking about, words like con, deceive, and they said something about the gold market. Thought you might be interested.
What? Those men are trying to deceive me.
Yes.
Why didn't the Spence tell me? I want these men arrested now.
Yes, sir.
Well, Spence, I'm glad to say I arrested Fisk and Gold without much incident.
I'm glad that's all settled. Well, Miles, I think it's time for us to go home now.
Wait, before you go, Spence, I'd like you to look into something for me.
Of course, Mr. President.
Well, as you know, the Transcontinental Railroad's bound to be completed very soon.
Of course.
Well, this morning, out of the blue, someone donated 600 miles of track in the perfect place to complete the railroad. I mean, isn't that the nicest thing you ever heard? I mean, I guess I don't have to continue paying the Union Pacific anymore.
Of course. One of the biggest scandals of Grant's administration was the Credit Mobilier of America scandal, in which Union Pacific used the aforementioned eponymous company as a shell firm to defraud millions of dollars of money from shareholders and the federal government.
Wait, what?
Let me show you. Okay, let's say I'm in charge of a bake sale for the federal government. Let's also say that even though the federal government has tried to make doing a bake sale as worthwhile as possible for me, I still don't think that I'm going to make enough money for this to be worth my time. So what I do is tell the federal government I'm hiring an assistant called a Credit Mobilier to bake goods for me. Obviously, Mr. Mobilier isn't real, he's just a fake person created and controlled by me. Therefore, I'm still making all the pies and pastries. Once more, let's say that I have a group of investors who are investing in my pie business. Just remember them. They'll come into play in a moment. Anyways, this is where the scam is. Mr. Mobilier is a very talented baker, so he's very expensive to hire. In fact, he charges whatever he wants. Who pays for him? Technically, I do, but all my money comes from the aforementioned investors. I'm sure you know that it's not that expensive to make pies and pastries, and it sure isn't worth buying anything like $120 an hour. It looks like the Credit Mobilier is making a lot of profit, but guess what? He isn't real, and all his money is my money. All of a sudden, I'm very rich. Now just replace the talented Mr. Mobilier with the small, fake companies with weird names like Jedi and Raptor, and me with executives of one of the world's largest energy companies. And you'll have one of the most famous defrauding scandals in recent history, Enron.
What does it have to do with Credit Mobilier?
No, it's pronounced Credit Mobilier.
Oh, whatever, I don't take French. What does this this fake baker have to do with anything?
Well, instead you replace Credit Mobilier with a fake company called, unsurprisingly, Credit Mobilier, and pies with Railroad, and me with Union Pacific executives, and you have the Credit Mobilier of America scandal. But now the federal government will have all the pies they need.
Wait, you get pies?
Therefore, I won't have to be hired to bake them, and therefore the scandal won't happen. Now we're all the way back where we started.
Therefore, we have to do something.
Well, no kidding, Miles.
Who could have done something like this?
There's only one person who could have done this. The Anti-Spence.
We have to destroy these tracks in order to restore the timeline.
You know the best way to destroy tracks, Miles?
Explosive!
Yeah!
Okay, just give me a minute.
Maybe we should get off the tracks first, though.
Whoa, wait, is that President Grant on the tracks? I can't believe it, we just killed President Grant.
How are we gonna fix the timeline now?
Well, you're the Spence, can't you just go back in time and clone him or something?
That would be illegal.
Whoa, President Grant, I thought you were supposed to be dead.
Dead? Of course not.
Spence, what's the matter?
It's the Anti-Spence. He's taken the place of President Grant.
Hey, look, a bake sale! Oh, the cookie!
Hey, wait, aren't you John McDonald, and weren't you sent to Missouri to raise funds?
Oh yeah, actually I was just coming back to report to the President's Secretary exactly how much I made off the whiskey industry.
What's he talking about?
That's the whiskey ring scandal. Grant's secretary and many other high-ranking officials defrauded the IRS by selling more whiskey than they reported to the U.S. government. It's one of the biggest scandals of Grant's administration.
Well, anyways, I was on my way back to Washington, D.C. when this nice man talked to me and converted me to the wonders of Judaism. Now, instead of defrauding the whiskey industry, I'm doing the good old honest mitzvah of a bake sale.
That fiend! The Anti-Spence is trying to stop the whiskey ring before the government can.
Hold on a second. How do you know he just didn't convert to Judaism because of its universal appeal?
Let's be honest, Miles. No matter how awesome Judaism is, no one converts.
Alright, fine, I'll give you that. But what about that whiskey ring he was talking about?
Well, that shouldn't be too hard to fix. I think if we just plant some evidence, we can convict some of those high-ranking officials.
Including McDonald?
Including McDonald.
But that's not very mitzvah-like, incriminating someone who repented a life of sin.
Well, don't worry about it, Miles. He gets pardoned and goes on to write a tell-all book in 1880.
Let's go see some evidence with Grant's secretary. You know, he seems in on it.
Yeah, his name is Orville Babcock, and he's one of the main conspirators.
Alright, let's go.
Come on!
Come on out, Babcock. We know you're here, and we know you're involved with the whiskey ring scandal.
Looking for someone? Miles?
Gasp! It's the Anti-Spence!
Think fast, Anti-Spence.
President Grant!
So, President Grant, how'd you survive the explosion?
Well, I knew the Anti-Spence was on to me, so, I hired an actor to beam me in. Well, he's actually the one that got killed.
Well, I have some bad news for you, President Grant. I know you won't want to hear this, but your secretary, Mr. Babcock, has been defrauding the IRS for millions of dollars.
What? How could he do this to me? I mean, we've been friends forever. You know what? I'm not going to believe you. He's been my friend forever, and I just met you. No offense.
Well, promise me you'll look into it.
Okay, whatever. I mean, I'll get the new Secretary of the Treasury, Benjamin Bristow, on it.
That's still leaves one thing unsolved. What are we supposed to do about the Anti-Spence?
Well, I mean, how do we defeat one as strong as the Spence himself?
Spence, please, tell.
Well, I could sacrifice myself because we are equal and opposite.
Is there any other way?
Of course there is. Miles, you had the power all along.
Me?
Just check your pocket.
What's this? Anti-Spence.
1 spray will paralyze him, and 2 sprays will kill him, but 3 sprays will end the world. So be careful.
Okay. It's time.
What you say? That you only meant well, 'cause you did. What you say? That it's all for the best, 'cause it is. What you say? That it's just what we need. You decided this. What you say? What did she say? What did she say?
I was so wrong for so long, only trying to please myself. Girl, I was caught up in her lust when I don't really want no one else. So
what you say? That you only meant well, 'cause you did. What you say? That you only meant well.
7:30 in the morning. You gotta sleep.